Welcome to the Courage to Live podcast. My name is Josh Bitsko. I'm a retired police captain with 24 years of experience out of Las Vegas. Currently, I travel the country and I teach people about courage, resilience, and leadership. Tell me if this sounds familiar. You had a long shift at work and it was a busy day and you were killing it. You were meeting all your deadlines. Say you're a first responder, all the calls you handled went really well. You may have had a couple exciting calls, exciting things that happened, but you handled yourself well, and it was a great day, a great shift. You get home and you're exhausted. You gave everything that you had at work, and you have no space or room for anything else. So you sit on the couch, you watch TV, you eat dinner, you maybe have a couple of very surface level conversations with your spouse, and end up going to sleep. Wake up the same day and it repeats. You do the same thing. So what I'm going to talk about today is putting the same effort into your relationship as you do work. Now, we all say anecdotally, as cops, for example, I don't want to be remembered as a great cop. I want to be remembered as a great husband, a great wife, a great parent. And that's what I really want to be remembered in. But when it comes to putting that into practice, it can be a lot harder than it seems. We have a lot of emotions surrounded with our job and our career, and we're providing for our family, and there's a lot of stress, and people around us don't understand the stress that we're under when we're working. And we can at times use that as an excuse to just not show up at home. Because when you're at work, you plan, you prepare, you train, you communicate with your coworkers. You show up and with all the time and intention to do a great job at work. But do you do the same thing at home in your relationship? Do you plan for the week ahead? Do you plan for the weekend? Do you prepare to, let's say you're going to have a date night, but on top of that, you have football practices and games and everything that comes into life. Do you plan your week out so you're ensuring that you're including, time with your spouse during all the responsibilities that you have at home? Or do you just kind of take it as it goes and find yourself at the end of the day left with no time and no way to continue to improve that relationship? The same thing goes with training. I would put marriage counseling in the same vein as training for your job. Is we oftentimes wait to go to marriage counseling when we're on the brink of divorce. Well, that dynamic should really change, and you should do that to fix the small issues and fix the communication issues. That way, long term, you're going to have a more resilient relationship. It's mirrored in the same way that we talk about mental health on this podcast and in my book. So when you're at work, let's say there's a problem that comes up. You make adjustments, you problem solve, you communicate with your coworkers, communicate with your boss, communicate with your subordinates to solve the problem. Are you doing the same thing in your relationship? When a problem comes up, does it turn into a fight, or do you attack the problem with your spouse? I'm giving these as examples as ways that you can mirror the same intention and effort that you put into your career as you do into your relationship. And none of it's easy, right? It's easy to get home after a long day and melt into the couch and watch whatever sport or whatever, you want to experience at home while you're watching TV and be mindless. That's easier. But at the end of the day, that takes a toll on your relationship. That toll, what is the cost of the neglect? If all your energy goes into the job, resentment grows at home. And that burnout on both sides accelerates when the place that you should be recharging your batteries is home, but that's strain. Because know this, success at work won't fix loneliness. It won't fix broken trust. It will not fix the emotional distance that builds up in a relationship. Because the balance here, the benefits, strong relationships can increase your resilience under stress at work too. You have that person to lean on and you build a more resilient self. When you have a critical incident at work, you're going to be better equipped to deal with it. Having the ability to build an emotional connection makes you a better leader, a better cop, a better teammate. a better subordinate, a better employee. Because here's the thing, a healthy relationship with your spouse will outlast the career. And it will also give meaning to the sacrifices that you're making for your family. Because yes, you may be working long hours and hustling at your job to provide for your family. But then if you're not at home enjoying the time with your family, you're not putting that effort at home, then what's the point? A couple practical ways that you can match the effort that you put into work at home is schedule time with your partner like you'd schedule meetings or training at work. Bring that same curiosity that you have at work, asking questions, listening, debriefing things that happen. We do that at work. I'll ask you to do it at home. When you celebrate a win at work, what do? You guys high five, you get together, you maybe go have a couple of beers after work and do all these things to celebrate something good that happens at work. Well, take that same mentality home and celebrate wins at home. Hey, we just survived another week with 5 practices for 3 different kids and 2 games and homework and dinners and everything that goes into it on top of working all day. We were able to do that together. Let's celebrate and go out for a date night or do the things that we both love to do. And then a big one is putting that energy into learning. We learn the job. We read leadership books. We take classes. We take courses to become better. For example, as a cop, you're training all the time to be better. Can you put that same energy into relationships, reading books, counseling, conversations, learning about your partner, investing in that relationship just as you invest in professional development? And I'll tell you, I've had times where I was fully enveloped in work and I wasn't the spouse that I needed to be. I was burnt out. I was working 12, 13, 14-hour days, and I had nothing left to give. So this is normal, but it's something that you have to fight and something you have to put intention to, because the real badge of honor isn't just what you did at work. Real badge of honor is the legacy that you build at home. Yes, I was a good cop. And that's a good thing to be remembered for. But at the same time, I want to be remembered for being a good parent, for being a great spouse, and being that person that my wife expects me to be. Thank you so much for listening today. If you enjoyed the podcast, if you enjoyed what we talked about, please subscribe or share it with a friend. So I appreciate you spending some time with me today.